One of the most interesting characters in the Bible is Ovadia, the prophet Ovadia. And his book is the shortest book of all of the prophets, made up of only one chapter. And it's a prophecy against the nation of Edom. Edom were the descendants of Esau, the brother of Jacob. And we have a tradition that in fact Ovadia was a convert from this nation. And he's called upon by Hashem to deliver his prophecy to Edom, to this nation, that their destruction will come eventually. And the book of Ovadia is read as the Haftarah for this week's Parsha, Parshat Vayishlach. Why is that so? And the Talmud gives us the following incredible answer. It says really what it has to do with is a contrast between the two characters, between Esau, whose lineage is discussed in Parshat Vayishlach, and on the other hand, Ovadia, one of his descendants. Where did Ovadia live? Where was he active as a prophet? He lived in the northern province of Israel. This is after the nation split into two different kingdoms, with Judah in the south and the 10 tribes in the north. And the 10 tribes were governed by men and women who were complete idolaters. It was a pagan country. And the worst of the worst was the king Achav and his wicked wife Izebel. And it was just in that home that Ovadia worked. He was the prophet. And in fact, he kept himself very, very low key, because Izebel went on a crusade to kill all of the prophets. What did he do when she started this crusade? Ovadia clandestinely hid 100 prophets in 2 caves, 50 in one cave and 50 in another cave. And he used to borrow money in order to feed them and protect them and make sure that they were looked after. And in fact, there's even a story in the prophets about how Ovadia passed away and his widow was left with all of these debts, and the prophet Elisha came to her assistance. But he lived in the very home of Achav and Izebel, these 2 wicked people, and he did not learn from their wicked ways. He remained a righteous person. In fact, he remained a prophet. Contrast this, says the Talmud, to Esav. Where did Esav grow up? Esav grew up in the home of Yitzchak and Rivka, 2 of the greatest people who ever lived. One a matriarch and one the patriarch. And yet Esau turned out to be a wicked person. And therefore the Talmud tells us that we are contrasting these 2 characters. Here we have a person who grew up in the midst of 2 righteous people and yet turned out to be evil. And on the other hand, we have Ovadia, who was raised in the home of 2 wicked people and yet came out to be righteous. And I think that the lesson that they're trying to put across is really quite a simple but profound one. There's no such thing as a predetermined future. You cannot say, because I grew up in this particular environment, that means that's what I'm going to be. There's no choice in the matter. The Talmud is telling us it's not true. You have a choice. If you believe in correct values, if you are a person who is committed to doing mitzvot and studying Torah, you'll come out okay, even if your environment is not that good. And this is the lesson that the prophet Ovadia comes to teach us. And it is for this reason that till this very day, many converts, when they embrace Judaism, refer to themselves as Ovadia. And what they're really saying is, this is the life I've chosen. I may have grown up in a different environment, but I can become something better. I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom.